Colorado River. Its lush banks, a stark contrast to the dry desert that surrounds it. It is because of it that life in the arid Southwest is possible. It begins its 1,400-mile-long journey in the high alpine of the Rocky Mountains, dropping 10,000 feet of elevation down to the Gulf of California. Along the way, shaping the landscape around it, carving rock into canyon. The basin spans 250,000 square acres across 7 states and hosts an intricate system of tributaries. All of the water within the basin eventually makes its way into the Colorado River. In 1921, in the face of growing population and commerce, a representative from each of the basin states formed the Colorado River Commission. The goal of the commission was for the basin states to come to an agreement of how to equitably share the water from the Colorado River between them. After months of negotiations, they gathered once again in Santa Fe, New Mexico, to sign the fateful final agreement, and the 1922 Colorado River Compact was born, dictating the next century of water policy in the West. The compact estimated that the average annual discharge for the river was about 17 million acre-feet per year, and thus allocated 15 million acre-feet of water for beneficial use. The 7 states themselves were separated into 2, an upper basin and a lower basin. Each basin was allocated half of this, 7.5 million acre-feet of water per year. The Colorado was known for being a wild and erratic river, with high flows regularly over 100,000 cubic feet per second, sometimes rising more than 20 feet overnight. In an attempt to control the unpredictable river, the Bureau of Reclamation began what is known as the Colorado River Storage Project, which oversaw the planning and construction of Hoover Dam, creating Lake Mead near the city of Las Vegas, and later on, Grand Canyon Dam, creating Lake Powell along the Utah-Arizona border. Both dams combined generate about 10 billion kilowatt hours of hydroelectric power every year. These reservoirs are the 2 largest in the United States and are meant to act as savings accounts of water that could help supplement demand in periods of drought. Today, 40 million people and 5.5 million acres of farmland rely on the water from the Colorado River system, as well as the hydroelectric power generated by the dams, including major cities such as Denver, Los Angeles, San Diego, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. The 1922 Compact, though a landmark of water management, failed to consider a handful of issues. First is that the authors ignored both the United States of Mexico and the Native American tribes that all live within the basin. In 1944, 2 decades after the compact was signed, Mexico was allocated 1.5 million acre-feet of water a year through a set of treaties with the U.S. Although having resided in the basin for centuries, Native American communities were only addressed in the compact by one single sentence. Nothing in this compact shall be construed as affecting the obligations of the United States of America to Indian tribes. Specific allocations for Native American tribes were later quantified through various legal battles as recent as 2023. Many communities lack the funding and infrastructure to receive or store their water, leaving them dry. To this day, Native American tribes lack a formal seat at the table regarding discussions about the future of this water system. Though the compact allocates 7.5 million acre-feet of water to each basin, it does not specify how the water should be shared within them, leading to more litigation surrounding the river. The lower basin, particularly the states of Arizona and California, have had decades-long conflicts, resulting in a set of lawsuits that have gone all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. The complex series of compacts, treaties, and lawsuits have given the Colorado the fitting nickname, River of Law. Almost 90% of the water in the basin originally comes from the various mountain chains found within the upper basin, melting from seasonal snowpack runoff. But as the decades get drier and warmer, the annual average snowpack is shrinking, reducing the water available in the system. Lake Mead and Lake Powell's levels have steadily been decreasing since the year 2000. Some estimates warn that by 2027, both reservoirs could drop below power pool, which is the minimum water level needed to generate hydroelectric power, or possibly below dead pool, which is the minimum water level at which the dam can release water for any type of use. The reservoirs saw their lowest levels ever recorded in 2022, when Lake Powell's surface reached the critically low level of a mere 32 feet above power pool. The drying climate puts the water system under immense pressure on its own, but there is one more major problem. When the Colorado River Commission estimated that the average annual discharge of the river to be 17 million acre-feet, they calculated this number based on the previous 2 decades of flow data. Using tree ring analysis, we now know that these 2 decades saw abnormally high precipitation, resulting in more water in the system than usual. The Commission calculated the average flow based on some of the 2 wettest decades in the past 500 years, resulting in overestimations for both average discharge and annual water use allotment. The true average discharge of the river is closer to 14 million acre-feet a year, and since the year 2000, it is even lower at 12 million acre-feet a year. The legally allocated 15 million acre-feet of water allows the river basin to use more water than what actually exists in the system. Every single drop of water is accounted for in the eyes of the law, stored, diverted, and used, leaving none for the river itself or for the ecosystem that is sustained by it. Once connected to the ocean for millennia, the powerful Colorado River has only freely flowed into the Sea of Cortez a handful of times since the completion of Glen Canyon Dam, the most recent in 2014. The only water found here today is a trickle of agricultural runoff. The Southwest has been overusing our water for the past century, and it is quickly catching up to us. Over the past couple years, the current Colorado River Commission has met to discuss the future of our water. It is clear that major cuts in water use are needed, but there has yet to be an agreement about where these cuts will come from, missing deadline after deadline given by the Bureau of Reclamation. The next opportunity for an agreement falls in February of 2026, but it is unclear if one will be found. The Upper Basin, who has never used their full 7.5 million acre-foot allotment due to lack of industry, wants to have the chance to further develop their water rights allocated by the 1922 Compact, and do not want their water rights cut, despite knowing that these numbers calculated in the Compact are gross overestimations. The Lower Basin, who frequently use more than their half of the allocation in order to irrigate crops, is the largest grower of wintertime produce for the country, making it possible to eat fresh vegetables during the cold months. 80% of all of the water in the system is used to irrigate agriculture, and over 30% of the water in the entire basin is used to irrigate alfalfa, a water-intensive crop grown for livestock feed. Up to 40% of the alfalfa grown is exported out of the basin and even out of the country. The water inside of the plants never to return to the Colorado River Basin. The upper and lower basins make hundreds of millions of dollars in profit from growing and exporting alfalfa. The current rules of use expire in December of 2026. Every deadline missed creates more uncertainty and insecurity for the basin. But one thing remains clear. The 1922 compact currently in use cannot be sustained. Leaving the riverbed downstream dry and empty cannot be sustained. Our current water allocation system and our current agricultural system both need to be completely rewritten. The future of the Southwest depends on collaboration, compromise, and consideration by and for all. Our world, our climate, and our water sources are changing, and so must we.